Like to introduce my guest today, Jeff Gadway. Jeff is a consummate storyteller. He spent 9 years honing the BlackBerry story as head of worldwide product marketing, and then he made the leap to startups. Today, Jeff's a founding partner at Galvanize, an agency that provides outsourced marketing support to growth companies. And in his spare time, he also teaches marketing at Wilfrid Laurier University in Canada. So welcome, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate you having me on. It's good to be here.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. So let's jump right into things. So we're talking about storytelling and the importance of storytelling for corporations. So why don't we start with the most fundamental question? Why does storytelling matter?
Oh, it's a great question, and here's the thing: like storytelling has been a core human skill for thousands of years, right? It's how we pass along information. It's how we learn. It's how we connect with each other on a human level. And yet when it comes to business, we often overlook some of the core tenets of great storytelling because we're so focused on trying to sell our product. And so storytelling is a way to connect with our audiences at a deeper, more engaging human level. But even more than that, it's an opportunity to connect with our employees, to connect with investors, and really engage people's hearts and minds. The other thing that I really believe about storytelling is that in today's world, the barriers to technical innovation are coming down, right? Cloud computing, distributed workforces. It's harder than ever to build a product that on its own merits is differentiated. And so by building a unique and differentiated story, it's yet another mechanism to differentiate your product and your whole product offering.
No, that's great, and you use the term hearts and minds, and that's something that's it's always kind of super interesting to me, to kind of get to both the rational aspect as well as that emotional piece. Can you talk just a little bit about the emotional aspect of storytelling?
Yeah, and I think this is something that maybe gets glossed over, right? That storytelling is like a hot catchphrase in marketing right now. And there are a lot of people out there who maybe discredit or write storytelling off as just this veneer that gets kind of plastered over the marketing copy. But really good storytelling, in my belief, emanates from something much deeper, right? Really clear human insight that is aligned with the DNA of the brand, right? And if you can thread that needle and strike the right balance between what's true and authentic to you as a brand and what connects with real authentic insight of the customer, then you're able to engage them at a really human level, right? And engage their emotions while at the same time backing up those experiential promises or that kind of North Star purpose, what you believe in, what you stand for, with the rational reasons to believe that underpin it, right? And in doing so, you've got something that engages on a human level, but that's also rooted in the intrinsic and extrinsic attributes of your product and your brand. And so it's this really, really good link up of emotion and ration.
Yeah, so I love that, and maybe that's a good opportunity to dig a little deeper and really talk about what are the key elements that make a great corporate story.
Well, I think the first thing is adopting a mindset that a really effective story or narrative is one that leads to you, right? Not one that starts with you. And I think this is one of the most common sins of storytelling. People are so focused on wanting to talk about themselves that they open up by saying, here's who I am, here's what I do, right? It's kind of the traditional problem solution approach. And the problem is that if you lead with that, if the person doesn't immediately understand that they have that exact problem, you've lost them right off the get-go. So the point here is, think of like a really great story as a wave that's cresting in the ocean. And if you can get on it at just the right time, that wave is going to bring the surfer into your shores, right? It's going to bring them right to your door. And so if you can get them engaging with your story, nodding their head, leaning in, bought into the general premise that you're introducing early on, and then work that story effectively, it's going to bring them right to you in a way that they can't refuse. But it takes a little bit of patience, and it takes some adept skill at understanding how to kind of ride that wave so that it brings you into shore.
Yeah, no, I love that. And it's interesting because it kind of works both at the high level corporate storytelling, the kinds of stories that you would tell on your website and your messaging, and then also kind of in the sales process. That's, a core part of the consultative sales process, right? Start with the customer's issues and the pains, and then, get to the capabilities that they need to improve, and then say, hey, if we can help you with that, would you be interested? And now you've earned the right to talk about your product. So I love the way that you frame that, that discussion. So Jeff, any final thoughts?
Well, I think, I like to say storytelling is like a muscle, right? You don't just show up at the gym one day and expect to get fit. It's something that you need to, put in the reps and do. And so I'd encourage, marketers to kind of put in the reps in storytelling, and get in the weeds, right? It's messy. Storytelling is not a linear process. It's kind of a cyclical, iterative process. I know you like to say, Jeff, that, messaging is a full contact sport, and I think storytelling is much the same way. So, I think go out there, look for resources around, applying some of the tenets of storytelling that you see in screenwriting and film and other domains and disciplines, or orative or oration for that matter, and look at how you can apply or reinterpret some of those core concepts for storytelling in business. And I think your story and your ability to tell it will be stronger as a result.
Yeah, that's great, Jeff. Really, thank you so much for sharing your insight with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks, Jeff.
Sure thing.